Hi, Jeff Hicks with Realwired. Welcome to another Indispensable Appraisers podcast. Today we're talking about playbooks. You may have heard of them, maybe you use them. You can call them SOPs, standard operating procedure, you can call it whatever you want. But playbooks are basically documented processes. Sounds kind of boring, but I think once you get your head around how productive and helpful playbooks are, especially with you and your team, it is a game changer. It's a very small tactical thing to do, but it is amazing. It may be the reason that you can't take a vacation and not get emailed and pinged and texted if there's any issues with clients. So for example, maybe 10 years ago, if I would leave on a vacation, when I came back, I would just have so many emails, so many emergencies. On vacation, I might even get phone calls if there was an emergency, say with my office building. Hey, the elevator stopped working, there's no internet, yada, yada, yada. It's very disruptive for your vacations, and it's an easy fix with creation of a playbook. So what is a playbook? It really just translates the vision and strategy to tactics. And it helps your teams to visualize what you expect of them and how to do basic processes. So you can document very short things and you can document longer things. But the key to a playbook is it's got to be short and sweet. If you do, again, a playbook can be written. It can be a combination of checklists and video links. But if it's very long, if you made a video that's an hour long, nobody's going to watch it. It needs to be bite-sized. And it's not the technology per se, like this is these could be Word docs, Google Docs. It's not the technology, it's people know where to find it and that it's easily digestible. So you want to look at anything that takes up your time or tends to be reactionary. So if you've ever read the E-Myth book by Michael Gerber, what that's talking about is why businesses don't work and what to do about it. And the basic premise of the book is a lot of small businesses, especially appraisal firms, and even chief appraisers within appraisal departments, they don't document process very often. So what happens is, especially when you train a new person, you start all over explaining the same things over and over. And you find yourself reacting to, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And as a chief appraiser or owner of the appraisal firm, that is not the best use of your time. Excuse me. So let's say for a chief appraiser, what processes might you document? It could be ROV, the review process, SLAs, how do you use Uconnect? Where's a job manager manual? How does a lender use Uconnect? It doesn't really matter. It could be anything. If you own the appraisal firm, how do you write up a comp? How do you use data comp? How do you use Edge for report writing? How do you research site to do business? Where's our report formats? How do we use them? So here's just an example of some. I just pulled up some. There could be hundreds of different processes. Here's one that's ClickUp. It's a great website that allows you to create playbooks, processes. You can just throw it up. You can share videos, content. But here's just a really quick. It's a combination of text and screenshots, and then a video. So number one recommendation is, I call it Loom It. And Loom is like Zoom, but with an L. Loom is a video. This is Loom, what you're watching. I'm not recommending specific tools because in the end, it typically comes down to process, not is this the best tool, that tool. But I do love Zoom, that I can make this video. I can click save. I can then share a link. It creates a library for me to process, to have myself to access. It's super easy. So let's show another playbook. And here's a very easy one for meetings, whether you have stand-up meetings, quarterly meetings, tempo meetings. So what's important, so first we have Loom It, document how to do things. And number two is ownership. In this case, the person, simple box that says who's in charge of it. And again, this is just screenshots, what we're going to cover in the meetings. We're going to talk about initiatives, we're going to talk about finance every other week, success tips, metrics, fundamentals. So let's move on to another style. Let's say you're getting a little bit more technical and you're how to review, or in this case, how to create exhibits for an appraisal. So you could give this to somebody, your assistant, offshore, nearshore, Upwork. You can just say, here, make exhibits for me. Here's how I'd like them to look. Here's the access. Here's the link to the web page and with the login information. Same thing, here's an example. Here's some screenshots and some text for how to use Site to Do Business. If you've never used it, it would be confusing. So here's just a couple screenshots. Here's how you click. They've annotated some of the graphics, and that just gives you a quick overview of how to do traffic counts, demographics, or whatever you're doing. So number one, we loomed it, we made a video. Number two, we have ownership. Number three, what is the cadence? How often do I need to update Site to Do Business? There's a date here. The person that's in charge, they are also in charge of the cadence of these videos and of these playbooks. Again, a playbook can document anything. I also have playbooks I mentioned earlier about the elevator breaking, internet went down. So I have in ClickUp, you can click on building resources and it has access to everything, the elevator contact person, the MSP, the tech people. So if the internet goes down, the firewall has an issue, you call the MSP company, they fix it. Elevator people, they fix it. The power goes off, there's a phone number, and there's a cadence to it. All right, so let's check another playbook as an example. This one is for FIVA. This is the Chief Appraiser organization that we created, Financial Institution Valuation Advisors. So again, if I'm not the person doing this, I don't really need it, but it really is helpful to know that I can give it to anybody and say, here, follow this, as opposed to, so-and-so handles this. So this is a text. Here's the pre-event. Here's all the things that need to happen. Here's the people. Here's the emails, RSVP lists, who gets out what emails, where do we post social media, how do we market the FIVA events, what do we do before the event, what do we do a week after the event, how do we look ahead for future education content, how do we find them. In this case, let's send out some the FIVA invites to our Uconnect clients. Here's how we communicate with paid members. Here's how we RSVP for people that are not qualified. The date of the event reminders, post-event e-blasts, Zoom recordings, CRM. Again, the level of detail, it needs to be, I call it 80% is 100% awesome. It doesn't need to be perfect. Don't think like an appraiser. Think you're not assuming somebody that's using your playbook is unintelligent. You're assuming that they can follow a basic process. So let's go to another one, much more detailed, is a strategic planning process. So this is a combination of all three. This is text, screenshots, and links out to videos. And this is a very comprehensive playbook because it includes a strategic plan, core values, mission statement, 10-year target, marketing strategies, 3-year plan, 1-year plan, quarterly rocks, accountability chart, how to manage your quarterly strategic meeting. That seems pretty obvious, but again, You want to pass off these processes. When somebody asks you any question, you should have a playbook for most anything. So the best way to determine how and what should have a playbook, take 1 week and look at any interaction you have, somebody calling you, texting you, emailing you, asking you for things, and see, can that be improved with a playbook? So the 4 steps of the playbook, we covered Loom It, which is a video, which is what I'm doing right now. Ownership, who owns this? If you just kind of set it and forget it, and you don't have a person in charge of this, this will either A, not get done, B, get stale, or C, I don't know where it is, can't find it, do we have it, right? You may want to make a playbook about making playbooks. Sounds a little ironic. So number 3 is the cadence. How often does this particular playbook need to be updated? And 4th is the checklist. Did somebody follow the checklist? I showed you earlier the FIVA event. Did they go through all the steps and actually check it off to have a successful FIVA meeting? It seems very basic, but taking the time to do these strategic playbooks, tactical playbooks, it is super impactful. You can also drill down, even though it's not technically a playbook. Let's say you find yourself sending very detailed emails to a certain person or client or group. You could take your email signatures within Outlook, have 30 different signatures, and with each one is a label that can include instructions on how to do something. This is a really big takeaway, that you take a process. Let's say, hey, how do you, repair Office? How do you create an engagement letter? Whatever it is, write it out. Same thing for your email signature. You could have text, screenshot, browse out to a video, keep it short, keep it tight. Here's the process, and then your signature. So again, when the email comes in or the question comes in, you right click it. Let's say it's, what's the bank policy on ROVs? Your boss is asking. Right click, go to ROV explanation. You click on it. Here's how we handle the ROVs. Here's some samples. Here's a video that I made about it. Here's the steps. Signature. Boom, done. So, hope that's been helpful. That's the pod. Thank you for joining me on Indispensable Appraisers. And I really, truly think that playbooks can make appraisers more productive, more efficient, and just kind of getting back to what they love. Thank you. Have a great day.